Hey, now let's go ahead and look at some basic fingerprinting. Okay, hopefully I can get you guys into the classroom. We'll be able to do this, but if not, I want you to understand exactly kind of how it is done. Normally in class, we're using basically a fingerprint stamp pad. Okay. A lot of times police will use this, or actually they'll have basically a plate. They roll out a very thin layer of ink and they'll just actually use that to roll. If they have a lot of money, a lot of times the departments now have a digital version where they just put it on there. It's like a photocopier. It scans it, takes your print, good to go. Doesn't take long, no mess. Now, let me show you a couple things through this. First one is to get a print, you're going to basically just roll your finger back and forth a little bit. You don't want a lot of ink. Okay, and that's one of the key things. Also, you notice I don't have ink up here at the very top because that's not the part I'm going to be looking for. Now, when police take prints, and you guys are used to this, like, oh, ink, okay, press down. Well, that works, but a lot of times police are going to want more information than that. So what they're going to do is this is where it gets a little tough. They're going to roll from side to side. So it actually ends up looking kind of like a rectangle. And that's what they're looking for a print, because you're actually getting more than just the very tip of it. Now, if I'd had more ink, you would have seen better than that. So you can see more actually coming out of it detail-wise. And you can see I actually have a little nick on my hand too. Those are just cracks. So what we do is police will actually use this. This is called a 10 card, okay, where they fill out all your information. If you are booked into a jail for any reason, they will fingerprint you. And they'll go through these things, right thumb, right index finger, all that. And they're going to go through every single piece. I'm not going to go ahead and do that just because it's going to take too long. But I'm actually have a little thing that I created just for this. Left all that. So save the thumb for last, okay, when you do this. And on the rest of these, it's going to get a little bit weird. So like your pinky finger, I'm going to take this backwards over here. And once again, you have to go from side to side. And it's a little tough, especially if I'm working inside the table. Let me go and put it on the edge. You guys won't see it though. So much better print now. You just can't see. Okay. Much better print coming out of that now. They do look similar, but on this, you can see more detail. This is where it kind of got smudged. And they're just going to go through. I'm going to go ahead and slide you guys forward some so you can see a little bit more. And do that. The one thing you want to make sure you don't do if you're fingerprinting is press straight down. Because a lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to smear it. Yeah, that one actually turned out pretty good. And a lot of times they'll go and they'll push way down because they want to think, okay, we're embedding in the paper. Well, that pushes the ink and actually puts it inside the ridges, so you're not going to see as much. Doing this on your own is a little bit challenging. Once again, you got to roll back and forth. And notice I've got almost a square going on there. Oops, wrong finger. And index finger and thumb. So we roll from side to side. Now notice on the hand, with the exception of thumb, I went from the outside of my body inside. On the thumb, I went the exact opposite. It has to do with how your wrist turns the easiest way. So you go through, and now we've got some fingerprints, and you see some detail. If you look for that, you can definitely see some of the stuff. And hopefully you can tell what type that is. And you know, on my small one, you can see some detail. If the police think, okay, it's not a good enough one, they actually have little tabs that they'll put over it so they can re-roll it again. These are actually then sent off to the FBI, where they're computerized or sent off to the FBI, and it goes into the APHIS database. Once it's there, it stays there. Okay? So please keep that in mind. But a lot of times you're going to be fingerprinted not because you're a criminal, but because of what you do. Being a teacher, I have to have my fingerprints in. Okay, anybody who works for the school district, anybody who works for a government job has to have that. A lot of times, just I know there are people that work in the motel business or the hotel business. They're fingerprinted because they want to make sure that the people working there, they could have a criminal past, but they want to make sure it's not like a horrendous crime that they go for. So they will be fingerprinting for that. So you'll probably be fingerprinted at some point in your life. Not a big deal. It doesn't mean you're bad, but it just means now your fingerprints are on file. And they can pull these up at any time. So wherever you go, keep in mind you're leaving your fingerprints and they can find you.